That was, of course, the Grange Hill theme tune. We're all returning to our old school days now, mercifully, only for a few minutes. Gives me jitters just even listening to that. We're joined by comedian Colm O Regan, who's going to talk to us in a little while about the Leaving Cert. But before we talk to Colm, last night our reporter Dan Flanagan went out onto the streets of Dublin and he asked people about their strongest memories of the Leaving Cert.
Waste of time. I'm doing music now and I did not need any bit of my Leaving Cert at all.
Well, the only thing I remember is I argued with the English paper. I argued with one of the questions. I said it was a really bad question and it was phrased wrong and I got a B2.
Well, the one specific one that stands out was I'd had a few drinks the night before my French oral and I went over and thought it would be a clever idea to speak in a French accent. Thought it would, get me marks that I wouldn't get otherwise, that I didn't feel I could get, and it ended up being one of the higher marks I got overall.
I suffered really bad anxiety attacks throughout the entire Leaving Cert and literally was the worst time of my life.
Terror, really. Also, I left my studying too late and I had to cram towards the end. Huge sense of relief when I finished. I remember stepping off the school bus for the very last time. It began to rain, and I suppose looking back now I still have nightmares where I'm still dreaming that Leaving Cert is coming up and I haven't done it yet. Glad it's over.
It's almost a nightmare when I think back to it. Colm's Irish Mammy's book was a big success last year. He's bringing us his new show. We have a little sneak peek about the Leaving Cert to the Sky Kilkenny Cat Laughs Festival this weekend. Morning, Colm.
Good morning.
Let's do the business first. It's called Certified.
It's called Certified, yeah.
You're in the Set Theatre, are you?
Set Theatre on the 2nd of June. That's the Sunday around at 7:45. So it's the evening paper.
And is the plan to do a similar Irish Mammies thing, basically monetize this humour, go on this road on the show?
What an awful word to describe art, Chris. I'm trying to bring something to the people, but no, I don't know. This at the moment it's Kilkenny, and we'll see after. It's because it's more temporal, more related to the time of year. Yeah. We'll see. But the Irish Mammies show is still ongoing as well too, and there's another book coming out. So I've outsourced half my work to Hyderabad actually.
Colm, cut to the chase. How did you do in your Leaving Cert?
I did quite well actually. I was quite a bookish child, so I got the points for what I wanted anyway. I was going for civil engineering, so I got them. Yeah.
Oh, you are I would love to have a child like that. Were you really good and studious and got knuckled down to the books and everything?
Well, I think I was the only country child in a really city school, Deer Park in Ballyfihan in Cork. So they all automatically assume that you're a swat anyway. So so you can't get away with trying to change yourself. But I did okay. And then, I remember during the mocks, you'd be there, depending on what teacher was supervising it, you could get away with giving away lots of answers to your mates around you. I went to the toilet once, I came back, my paper was gone, and then I had to go to the toilet again so he could put it back.
Colin, the last fella in that Vox hit the nail on the head. That reoccurring Leaving Cert dream that you can still have. I'm knocking on 30 now, and at some point in the last 6 months I had the Leaving Cert dream, and no college exam, no other exam that I faced in my life is like that.
Yeah, I think it must be something to do at the time of your life that you do it, that your brain is forming in such a way that if something big happens, then you're just going to dream about it. Plus, it's trauma. It's a huge deal anyway because everybody's talking about it. Because comedians keep insisting going on the radio talking about it. They can't avoid it.
Colm, why did you decide to do the festival all around the Leaving Cert?
Well, for a start, the Leaving Cert starting on Wednesday, so it was a time. It's a business radio station, but also. There's a lot of talk about it anyway, and people giving out about it, and I think it's such a huge cultural institution here that almost transcends its value as an educational point in your life. That there's a lot going on in it. Plus, you get the impression that eventually it will change. We might become more like the A-levels or more like the Scandinavians who do everything perfectly.
Like continuous assessment or something?
Yeah, so I think after a while it'll change. So I wanted to kind of commemorate the complete not the nice lunacy of it and what they make you do.
But it's same vein as Irish Mammies in that there is this societal nostalgia because you've probably been, or the vast majority of people have been in that situation. So what do they get in this show? How are you delivering it?
All right, that's down to business, yes.
Well, I was listening back to your Dripsy, and I was at that show where you described your town as a Victorian prostitute's disease because you were from Dripsy. We played that clip earlier on, but what are people going to get at this?
They're going to get me. I'm going to be reminiscing through the medium of my diaries at the time, my teenage diaries. I don't know if you guys kept one, but it's one of the more cringeworthy experiences of my life to read back on them, because my diary were a curious mix of teenage angst accurate descriptions of the weather and then snippets of global news at the time. So, like,
give us a go.
March 1st, a day from the depths of shite. Right. Then goes on to describe it. And Skippy, who was one of my teachers, took my ear stud. And then I remembered, oh yes, I had an ear stud at the time. I don't know, everybody went through a period where they grew a goatee and had an earring in their left ear.
Bad from the women, of course.
And then so things went down, did badly in the tech drawing mocks, really, really annoyed. And then Russians still bogged down in Chechnya. No, but then,
what year are we talking about?
This was 1996.
Any women feature in the diary?
Oh, yeah, except in the sense that I had a crush. I had about 8 crushes
Spice
throughout
Girls.
the year. Yeah. And it's miserable reading them. February 29th, she wasn't on the bus this morning.
Is there teardrops splattered on the page?
Well, I don't know. Yeah,
she was having her hip
the ink
replaced.
is... let me just write that one down, actually.
Did you have a crush on any of your teachers?
No, no female
Chris
teachers.
says God no as well at the same time.
Well, there was the PE teacher. Everybody fancied her, but no, it was unrealistic. Yeah, so
Given
bits
the
from
choice, Colm,
yes.
would you, like, I'm interested, when I talk to groups of mothers, and Sinead Ryan actually wrote about it, that she'd take the pain of her child away in a heartbeat if he broke his arm or broke his leg, but she wouldn't reset the Leaving Cert for him. I mean, most of us feel the same way. We'd never reset it again.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on. I remember doing a lot of worrying. Like, in a way, the Leaving Cert prepares you for real life. Being in Leaving Cert years like having a mortgage. Like, it's always over your head all the time. But I don't know what I reset it. When you look at the length of the papers, like they're about 4 hours long. Some of them, it seems some of it is an exercise in pointlessness, particularly where you have to write a letter to your French pen pal inviting them to stay on your uncle's farm. It's like, there's no way you and your team of cyclists are staying on my uncle's farm. Not with the way public liability insurance
It's
is.
beside a river.
What if he breaks your leg? Like, it'll be Where's Grandad all over again. Like, you know.
But you're putting yourself out there because it's the equivalent of, you know, with a group of friends where you show each other your communion photo or those cringe pictures. You're standing on a stage in front of people and reading these diaries, and you're having a good old laugh at yourself in this, the melodrama, as you said, of teenage Colm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. As a comedian, you kind of learn to package up yourself as a thing to show other people, and plus you're already up on stage, so you're not actually as concerned about people think about you as others might think. So no, it's not just the diaries as well too. I'll be going through the past papers, picking out some hilarious questions, and also I'll be designing some papers that I think should be examined in the future. Like, you can do honours, local property tax, you'll be able to do an exam in Liveline, and lots of different things. So I'll be suggesting ways to change the Leaving Cert.
Was there I was doing a shout out earlier on saying we're going to look at the funnier side of the Leaving Cert, if there is one. I mean, was there a hilarious moment for you? Or are you just looking back wryly thinking that was humorous?
I think the hilarity comes from how much we all cared about it. Like, you know, the notion that we were all learning off how to
Hunger Games type stuff, that you would die because of this.
Exactly, and you know, we were all drawing those little pictures of the effects of glaciation on V-shaped valleys. We learned them all off, you know, and what I like is that there's some things to this day that you still can kind of remember, or at least remember feeling pain over. So it's a resonance, is what I'm hoping, in a hilarious way.
I was having a look at some exam questions ahead of talking to you.
Yeah.
You know, the smart child who puts something, as in smart arts child. I think these children are brilliant. Explain the digestive system. It's a process that starts with the right hand and ends with the left. Incorrect. When was the Second World War fought? From page 26 to page 42.
What I think is terrible. Do you remember the day when the results came out?
I do, yeah. It was the same day as the Oasis concert in Cork, actually, yeah.
And how did it feel?
One depended on the other.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
no, there was that, because they hand them to you in a very understated way, and they've had a look already, and they're like, you know, I remember just, there you go, Colm.
Smirk.
And then, yeah, exactly, you don't know what the smirk is for. No, it's
the teachers
head-wrecking.
know, don't they?
The teachers know just before, yeah. But now it's all, I presume it's all done on computers now, is it? It's on Facebook.
You can do that. It's on Facebook. You get a tweet.
Young people these days, a clip around the ears.
It is true, though, what you said there about the Oasis concert, the other things you remember about that day. Like, do you remember anything about your college exam results? Any days? Do you remember your wedding?
Yeah, I got married before I went to college. No, I'm trying to think of the college exam results. No, very understated. There was 4 of them, of course, one year after another. And in college, of course, there was always that safety net of you could compensate in one exam with the other. You only had to repeat 2 or 3 months later. And in general, you had that notion of second chances. Whereas Leaving Cert, you can repeat it. But at 17 or 18, the idea of being held back a year was all, you feared that because you felt that everybody's going to go on and have the crack in the world, and all the crack will be used up by the time I'm out.
Colm, do you know how some people say the Leaving Cert, it never matters? Well, you're living proof that if you do well in your Leaving Cert, you become a monetising comedian. When are you appearing Sunday at the festival?
Sunday I'm on at 7:45. I'm also doing a show tonight with Barry Murphy. I'm doing 5 shows. Tonight is Kilkenny Exposed, where we look at Kilkenny through the prism of the local papers and local radio.
Are you heading down now, are you?
Heading down this afternoon, yeah. So the weather looks grand. They'll get nice weather for the exams, don't they?
You did a few gigs with Barry Murphy as well?
I am indeed. And Neil Delamere and Kevin Bridges as well too, the guy from Glasgow who's brilliant. So it's a brilliant festival this year.
Yeah, sounds
it's
great.
Really it's one to look forward to.
Colm show is called Certified. As we said, it's on the Set Theatre starting. It's on Sunday. Cat Laughs, Sky Cat Laughs. I'm looking forward to it this year, and I'm getting to go down this year as well. So Colm, I'll hopefully see you over the weekend. But thank you for being in with us, Colm O Regan.